Hi friends. Today is a first impressions of the newly released Melt Cream, what is this called? The Melt Cream Blush Lights that I just ordered this past Friday, which was their launch day. I just received it in the mail today. We'll get into the product details, swatches, and try-ons, but first, if it's your first time here, hi, I'm Alicia. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. And if you are returning, well, thank you for visiting me again. Kinkysweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I'm a fitness professional who loves things, all movement and beauty. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeups, you can head over to my Instagram. All timestamps will be down below if you wish to just see the product details, swatches, try on, or everything. I'm looking to do some comparisons, maybe not extensively as I did in my most recent cream blush extravaganza, I called it. Funny, I feel like 2021 we're hitting the cream blushes real hard, and I might have to do an update video, but I don't know if I could do it because that was a lot of cream blush. But to briefly touch on the brand, if you don't know Melt Cosmetics, they are an indie brand that first released their, I believe it's like their ultra matte lipsticks, super bold color, super aggressive holding power, and they were also well known for their eyeshadow stacks where highly pigmented shadows, I would say more so appropriately labeled powder pigments that are stacked magnetically, and you could use them however you wish. Very bold in your face looks, and that's definitely what comes into mind when I think about Melt Cosmetics. But in regards to their cheek products, their first cheek product that I picked up were their digital dust highlighters. Yes, and this is in gold ore. I thought this was a lovely product and got really excited when I saw them release this. But the one item that these, I believe, cream blush lights are inspired by are their coveted powder blushes that I awarded, I think, best blush of, it was either 2018 or 2019, Honey Thief, a quintessential shade in my collection. I never encountered a shade like this, but there are a few shades in the cream blush lights collection that are inspired by or directly from their powder blushes like Cali Dream and Honey Thief. So really excited to get into that, as well as their blush lights, which are a little more different than their matte blushes. This has actual shimmer, and I say shimmer because maybe it kind of borders between shimmer and satin, but it does have a bit of radiance when you apply these powders on your cheeks as opposed to the exclusively formulated matte blush formulas. Let's get some product details out the way. We're looking at, well, I bought the whole collection because you do actually save some money. The whole collection, which you can get for $155, which is what I did. I ordered from the Melt site. Get 8 blushes. If you purchase all individually at $22 each, which is what they retail for, it will come up to a total of $176. So you are saving $21. It's like getting one blush free. And I guess if you want to think of it like that. What are the expectations here? Well, new cream blush lights give your cheeks a natural glowing flush in an assortment of natural and pearl textures. Okay. The buttery cream formula melts into skin, providing a smooth, radiant finish. Multi-use cream blush lights can be applied to the cheeks and lips. Some shades even triple as a cream eyeshadow. Maybe those are designated, discernible in some way, creating a monochromatic look that always looks polished. We got 4 new, never before seen shades, and you will recognize some names. We turned some of our top selling blush and blush lights into new cream versions. Well, look at that. So here is the box that it comes in. I think this just, I love how they relied on the raised texture here to create this visceral experience, like, ooh, this is what's inside. You got a ribbon tab here that pulls out all the blushes. They each have their insert, and I love how they're laid out in this gradient. You know what? I'm gonna have to keep this box. I know it's not the most practical thing to do, but that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, here's a look at one of the boxes, and it takes on, if you see here, that sheen, that same textured finish found in the bigger pull-out box. Cream blush light with the big Melt logo on there. We have the color as well as the ingredient deck. This is in golden hour. Oh, the same name for the Tower 28 blush. It says apply on face as desired. Maybe some of these say apply on face and eyes if if there's that distinction. 4.5 grams or 0.14 ounces of product. The original blush lights are 4.51 grams and the matte blush is 5.04. So you're getting a little more in the powder formula for the matte. I can't tell if this is a 16 or 18 month number. I'm leaning more towards an 18 month suggested shelf life. Oh, and these are made in Italy. And I truly appreciate how each box reflects the color of the cream blush inside. This is again Golden Hour and we have Honey Thief. Let's take a look at the actual compact. It's the same black packaging as found in the blush lights and matte blush formulas. Would it have been nice to have a similar moment found in the Digital Duo compact where these are like a matte mustard, to have these in like a matte cream blush color? I'm sure that would have been a lot more expensive. I get it. I'm just putting it out there. But to have these compacts in the same blush color with the same like rubberized matte finish would have been for me. But that's okay. You know what? I don't make makeup. I don't know anything. Just wanted to put it out there. Of course, we have magnetic closure with the mirror. And look at that. I mean, regardless if it's not coral pink, it's fine. The matte compacts, I think, really nice. It's in between, I think it's moderately luxe, you know what I'm saying? It's not super heavy, but not super light. And the magnetic closure with the mirror inside, I think it's a reasonable feel in terms of the price point. These have a little bit of, like a light vanilla. Let's see how it is when it's on the face though. You know, that's really what I rely on to tell. First up, we have Golden Hour. Bright coral cream blush, light with a golden pearl. That feels very smooth. It was hard to detect the pearl without me actually swatching it, but then afterwards I was able to tell that there is an apparent sheen here. All right, we're off to a great start already. Up next, ooh, we got Honey Thief up next. Classic from the matte formula. Top selling powder blush now in a cream blush light. It says peachy tone with a dewy finish. And I think this is more, obviously not matte because of its cream consistency, but you see you could detect more pearl from the Golden Hour shade, and this is more of like a natural dewy finish. And they suggest here also that you can apply the matte blush Honey Thief on top of the Honey Thief cream blush light and just get crazy on the cheeks. Along with Golden Hour, we got a new shade. This is called Polish. Grapefruit cream blush light with a warm golden pearl. Ooh, that's a lovely color. Definitely leaning more coral for me. And I definitely detect that golden pearl. And Honey Thief is like a little more on the pinky side. Oh, another classic shade. We got Cali Dream. Bright coral. Believe in the same finish as Honey Thief. Interesting. This is very, very peachy. And yes, it has the same dewy finish as Honey Thief. Not looking at any pearl. I think they wanted to stay consistent with how the matte blush formula was, with how they would make it a cream, so they wouldn't necessarily put pearl in the matte blush version. Or I should say cream from the matte blush version. Is that more accurate? New shade up, we got Sandy Cheeks. A burnt peach cream. Ooh, that's pretty. Same dewy finish as Cali Dream and Honey Thief. You know how I feel about my terracottas. This, oh, and it says here cheeks, eyes, and lips. So take note, friends, we could use sandy cheeks on our sandy eyes. Next up, we have Lynx, which is from their original blush light collection. We are looking at, what does it say here? Sandy bronze shade can be applied to the cheeks, lips, and eyes. And this is one of their best-selling blush lights, also in the Lynx shade. What type of a pearl do we have? Does it specify? Probably like a bronzy pearl. That is absolutely beautiful. Really nice, super smooth. And these swatches are making me excited for how these cream blush lights will apply. Sundown, also from their original blush light collection. Warm bronze with gold pearl. Cheeks, lips, and eyes. That's a beautiful color. It's more like a really warm rose gold. Lynx, I feel, dare I say Lynx? Or maybe it's the other way around. Lynx takes on more of that rose gold and Sundown more of like that copper. And lastly, we have Daydreamer. Rich cinnamon with pink pearl. Quite a jump from Sundown to Daydreamer. You can make it work because these are so buildable just based on the actual swatch. But pink pearl is very subtle. I do detect the actual pearl. Ooh, but that must be beautiful with any of these, especially Sundown and Lynx. This one is just for cheeks and lips, so take note. And that is all the swatches, friends. If you want, you could take a little snapshot if you like from all the swatches that we have done. I think in all with, let's see, Honey Thief, Cali Dream, Sandy Cheeks, we're looking at 3 with that dewy natural finish, and the rest of the 5 have that pearl finish. Now it's time for you to come in a little closer. That's enough. Let's prep the skin first, going in with LYS's Triple Fix Serum Foundation in TN3 with my Koyudo Fupa. I believe this is the number, I want to say it's the number 2. It could be the number 4. So many numbers, I can't remember. This is Shantakai Real Skin in 4W. Let's go in with the first shade. Yes, Golden Hour, blush light number 1. I'll go in with my finger first. You see the color, but I feel this is more, for me, not necessarily a, well, now that I'm looking head on, I do see blush. You know, I see that there's color on the cheeks. Going in a second time, but what I admire mostly about this shade, I guess specifically, is the sheen that's left behind on the cheeks. That doesn't look typical shimmery. You can detect the pearl clearly just because of that beautiful effect it yields on the cheeks and on the cheekbones if you move a little higher with it. And I still can see the color on the cheeks, you know, compared to this side where I don't have anything on at all. There is some color that's coming through there. I now want to go in with the Classique Honey Thief. This is more of like a dewy finish, so it's not going to have that same pearl finish as, what did we just put on? Golden Hour. There we go. There's definitely a little more vibrancy here, a little more color. This is a really nice, easy formula to work with. Let me quickly take a look here. Isomil, Laurate, Isononil, Nonoate. This does not seem to be oil based. That leads me to believe it's a little more longer lasting than maybe those that are. And there is fragrance in here. It says parfum fragrance. I detected that immediately when I smelled it. I kind of still smell it on my face. It's not terrible. I do wish, however, that they omitted it. That's just my opinion. In terms of the texture, however, it's beautifully flawless to apply. I mean, this really just melts into the skin and it doesn't dry down completely. There's still some plushness to it, and you can kind of see that there is definitely a more of a dewy finish to this formula than, let's say, the LYS or even the Fenty. Tower 28 is a little thicker because it has the castor oil in it. This is definitely a little more lightweight. I'm just gonna do a very gentle wipe. Gonna start from scratch. For funsies, so let me slap on the original powder blush Honey Thief on top of the cream blush light Honey Thief side. Well, that's good to know. If you don't want that dewy finish and you want something a little more lasting, then I would just set the cream blush light with the powder product. And if you have the original Honey Thief, I love how it makes it a little more vibrant, a little more color intensive, and it definitely brings that flush forward. And this shade for me has always been just a staple in the spectrum of blush colors that I absolutely love. It's like not too coral, not too pink. It's a very unique shade. And I could go in with Golden Hour, but maybe a little higher on top of the cream and matte Honey Thief. Well, that's very nice. Moving down into Polished. Polished is, I believe this one has pearl as well, but this seems to be a little more pink in hue. Taking my Chikuhodo PF4 puff brush, going directly from the pan and just placing that on the cheeks. I definitely detect more pink. And I dare I say, I rather apply this formula with the brush. I think it's just going to be a little more even in application, and it will also apply a little more product, I think. So definitely Polish has more of like that pink hue, and you can see from Honey Thief, even though we applied the matte version on top of the cream one, definitely a little more coral in nature. Next, Canvas. Ooh, we have Cali Dream, which was the more of like that peachy hue. I'm gonna do that first. Let's do that first. Ooh, I might have to cut down the exposure for Cali Dream for this one because there we go. I felt like you wouldn't have been able to see what was happening. Taking my Mizuho CMP. Okay. So on its own, you know, I like it because it's peach, but I need a little more body to it. I definitely would have to wear this, I think, under the original Cali Dream. And in the same manner we did Honey Thief, plop on Cali Dream on top of the cream. Very nice. This I like a lot better. It's still not my favorite color profile. You know, I've always been one to think I liked peach, but I think I prefer more coral pink rose on my complexion. Although the peach, you know, I'm probably going to see this footage. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're stupid. I think the peach definitely adds a little bit of brightness to my complexion. I would probably ultimately mix these up, but just so you could see how the shades appear exclusively. You know, peach is fun. Thing is easy every day. You know, if you're not looking to super commit to a blush shade and want to keep it very simple and light, then I think Cali Dream is going to deliver that for you. And the powder product applies seamlessly over the cream one. It doesn't catch funny. There's no skipping. There's no unevenness in the application. I don't detect any. And the skin, despite me applying a matte blush, still looks fairly smooth. And I think it still retains a little bit of that radiance because of the cream blush foundation. Ooh, next up we have Sandy Cheeks, which was more of like this terracotta, going in with my Chikuhodo PF4. Oh yeah. Now, I say terracotta, that's probably not as accurate as when I will describe maybe more of Daydream, like that more cinnamon shade. Ooh, but I love this tone. It has a little more of like that ruddy tone to it that I think just best emulates like that sun-kissed glow. You know, we never want to get to a point where our face is sunburned, although that is a highly coveted look despite the damage it induces on our skin. I think Sandy Cheeks is appropriately named. It definitely has like that more ruddy type of a tone. It has the coral hue, but beautifully just together. It's so harmonious in this color presentation. I'm just putting on a little more real skin because I went a little high with that Sandy Cheeks. Definitely beach cheek ready. You know, you can consider the cheeks up here and down there if you like. This might be, so far, in addition to Honey Thief, because Honey Thief has always been a fave, my favorite color so far. I want to put a little bit of Golden Hour right here on the top to add a little bit more light. That's pretty. I like that a lot. I would like to see Sandy Cheeks as like a powder blush too, but you know, I understand that might be a priority for them right now. Definitely prefer that over more of like that peachy tone from Cali Dream. Although still beautiful, I do prefer more of like that, those tawny types of a shade. Up next we have Lynx, is more of like a blush light, but let's see how it does. Much like how I applied Golden Hour. Yes, I detect more of like a rose gold whereas golden hour was giving me a little more pink when I was turning forward. So this I feel would be beautiful also with sandy cheeks. I think they're within a similar color profile, if you will. Both of them, it's outrageously beautiful. Putting a little more here on this side so maybe you could see more of the color. Or maybe it's more like a copper, maybe more copper rose gold. There's definitely color there, but I would rely more on this for more of the highlighting, more of that luminosity on the tops of the cheeks as well as higher on the cheekbones. And the texture is really nice. I think it looks, it makes your skin look like glass. Most definitely. But if you experience texture, I would powder first just so you could prevent this formula from melting all the way into your skin and therefore bringing that texture a little more forward. But I still think more or less forgiving. Let's go straight into Sundown. Here we go. This is blush light number 2. But, you know, over Lynx is giving me a little more, I guess, yeah, this is, I would consider this more like the bronze shade, don't you think? I could take my Mizuho and apply it directly into the hollows of the cheeks. And despite the fact that it has gold pearl here, I think it translates beautifully as a cream bronzer. And some people I think are just like how many were gravitating towards applying shimmer metallics into their eye crease here. They're not relying on mattes anymore for like that exclusive shade that has to be applied on their crease. Now people I think are experimenting with applying pearlized finishes into the hollows like they would apply a matte formula, whether it be for bronzing or contouring, because I think it just adds beautiful radiance to the complexion, it adds life, it adds dimension. And this pearlized formula I don't think looks outrageously shimmery. It doesn't look out of place. In fact, I think it gives the cheekbones really beautiful luminosity. Trying to get a handle on how these dry down. They don't dry down completely. There is still like a dewiness that's left behind that you could love or not love. And if you don't love it, you know, you could always apply another highlighter on top of it to preserve its longevity. But you could also not care and just kind of leave it as it is. And there's a little moving around. You know, if you're in your house and not touching anything, yes, you could tap it back into place or what have you. If you're wearing this under a mask, I will probably not wear this under a mask anyway. Probably will apply it higher beyond the mask point so you could actually see the product. But what I'm excited to now go into is Daydreamer. Daydreamer is, I believe, a shade that I think will be more appropriate for me to apply a little higher. This is definitely more of like a bronzing moment, and this formula I believe has a dewier finish, not like with the pearl. I definitely have to apply this higher on my face because if lower, then it's going to drop my complexion, much like how I spoke about in my cream blush roundup, that those more brown textures I have to apply higher. But something I would like to say, it's interesting that Melt didn't go with maybe like a plum or a wine. Like these colors for me are very summer oriented. So I'm not sure if they have plans to release more cream blush shades that are more maybe fall winter, because all the colors that we have swatched, have seen in action are peach, coral, pink. Now we have more of like the cinnamon. The Lynx and Sundown is more coppery rose gold. So I would like to know if maybe Melt didn't feel that wines and roses will be colors that people would buy from them. It's just, you know, it's very interesting. I'm applying Sundown more on the cheeks on this side, overlapping Daydreamer. And you see when I turn forward, you could detect a little bit more of that brown. But then of course, when I turn side, you see that pearlized finish more. And I forgot that we could apply these on the lips. This is Sandy Cheeks. Oh, that's very peach. Okay, let me see how Honey Thief looks on the lip. That's definitely more pink. I mean, fun. It's fun. Not the color that I would gravitate towards, however. Lynx, though, Lynx might be something. Yeah, Lynx, I think, out of all the shades, is going to be my go-to cream blush light lip shade. Eyes. We could apply it on the eyes. Let's see. I definitely would recommend you apply a primer of some sort first, because if you have oily lids, then these will not last. But of course, if you don't care about that, if you don't mind repatting, but you know, we're not recommended to do that with what's going on and all, with not touching the face while we're out and about. With Sundown, let's see here, lips, cheeks, and eyes. So we could apply a little Sundowny into the crease. I'm taking my Refer 27 brush, one of their newest additions to their eye collection, dropping on the 20th. I think Sundown is a lovely shade to apply in and through the crease. Gives a little bit of, you know, warmth. And Daydreamer is just on cheeks and lips. And I saw Dana apply like a really heavy dose of this stuff. This is pretty on the lip. Ooh, I like that. Now, the reason why I brought up the wine shades is because not only wines, but fuchsia, magenta, like hot red, because I'm not sure if a lot of these shades are going to show up as a blush shade on deeper skin tone. Like Daydreamer might be a shade deeper skin tones can wear to highlight the cheeks, but to actually show up as a blush. Not to say that blushes have to be pink or rose or coral, but I feel they need to rely on more vibrant colors for blushes to actually show up as blush on their skin tone. Probably make the same argument if you are on the other side, on the lighter part of the skin spectrum. Maybe these will be too pigmented, but I think you'll be okay because the consistency is forgiving, and the skin tones in between those points can definitely finagle. I would have loved to see them, for instance, do body like maybe warmer, perhaps as like a blush light version. This is on the cool side. But maybe they have more plans to release more shades. I don't know. I do like Daydreamer on the lips, so if you're on my skin tone and you're wondering which shades can work on the lips or not, and hopefully while chatting and chatting, I could again get an idea of how these dry down. They definitely don't dry down like the Tower 28 or even the LYS or Fenty. Just putting on a little more Sundown, just right on the lower lash line. You can see that it's already creasing, so you know, again, if you want these to last some type of amount, then I would prime or go in with a powder and then maybe apply these on top. Going with golden hour here. I think that's what I admire about the LYS line. Like, just as you still have the peach, right? You still have these deeper shades that I think just serve more as a blush versus, you know, maybe like more of a bronzer type of a moment. Inspire is definitely one of my most favorite shades. I think, you know, the vibrancy in this shade can span more skin tones. And there's not as much slip in the LYS. There's a lot more slip in the Melt Cream Blushlights. Here's the LYS and here is the Melt, right? The LYS, I think, just has a little more impact. And because of that, because it's not as slurry, the staying power, I think, is better. And also the dry down. The dry down is not completely dewy. Not matte either, of course, more satin, but more of a natural dry down where your skin still feels smooth. You don't feel like it's going to move, the blush formula that is. In fact, let me do a quick comparison. I don't know, I have to teach class in like 20 minutes. So I want to do a quick comparison, and perhaps we can dedicate a live to comparing all the blush shades. Now, I think Polished and Inspire, are ish. Going in with Inspire with my Chikuhodo, and again, this color is just outrageously beautiful. The tint, the finish, and then with polished, I think lighter in nature is a little more emollient. There's a little more slide and glide with the Melt Blush, but I feel because of that, the LYS dries down a little more than the Melt. Ultimately, I would combine these. So I could take Lynx over LYS's Inspire to add a little more glow there on the tops of the cheekbones. I'll take Golden Hour and apply that maybe a little higher. Maybe I'll take Lynx, the powder version, over what did I apply on this Passion. And I think that's a nice way to go because the actual blush light powder formula is quite nice. And I think ideal to apply on these cream blush lights if you wanted a little more from them. Yeah, and also if you wanted a little more longevity. Those are all the swatches. Those are all the try-ons. What do you think down below? I like the formula. I just wanted a more extensive shade offerings. Like I feel this is very monochromatic in nature in terms of coral pink, cinnamon, copper. And I get it. Maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe, you know, as designated by the color of the box. I think there might be limitations though with these shade choices with multiple skin tones, especially again on the deeper range where I feel those skin tones can better benefit from shades that are more, not necessarily, they don't all have to be orange, right? More wine, more hot pink, like warm magenta, like that warm hot pink magenta or even fuchsia. Yes, the vibrant red and like that deep, beautifully rich orange shade. I think those shades definitely induce that blushed effect on deeper skin tones. Whereas I don't know if these will as much because I don't have that skin tone. I can't say for sure. I haven't looked for more photographs with these blushes being used on deeper skin tones. It'll be interesting to see. I think those skin tones will be able to get some nice highlights, you know, a nice dewy effect from maybe Lynx or even Golden Hour because it has the gold pearl. I just don't know how Daydreamer would translate as a blush shade. Maybe I just don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, Alicia, shut up. So it'll be interesting to see Daydreamer on action on a deeper skin tone where I think even a few shades deeper than me will still maybe have to wear a little higher on the cheeks. Maybe not. Maybe the gold pearl will make it so that is forgivable also on the apples of the cheeks. Needless to say though, I really like the formula. I think it's very easy to use. It doesn't dry down like the LYS, however. So if you want a cream product that dries down more into a natural finish, you're not going to find that in these. These definitely stay more on the dewy side. Some people love that, especially if you have really dry skin and you benefit from that finish. If you're on the oily side, I would then say layer on a similar colored matte blush formula over the cream blush lights so that not only will you intensify the color, but you'll also improve on the wear. The highlights are tricky because you don't want to cover the blush light pearlized finish with the powder. So I would then go in with a highlighter, you know, maybe go in with the Melt. This is Gold Ore. And then over, I mean, that's beautiful. Over the blush lights, dare I say, they make a killer setup for digital dust highlighters. Just for fun, going in with Raw Honey on, of course, is it the honey side or the raw side? I don't remember. Taking that over another cream blush light, I think just makes the powders or the gelée type of formula melt more into the skin. One of the specialized shades, this is in Phoenix, which I feel over the cream blush will look beautiful. Dare I say, the cream blush light formula makes a killer first step for like the gelée types of highlighters. You can definitely have fun with the layering and the combining and just figuring out what works well with what formula. All in all, I'm happy I bought these. I'm excited to integrate them with my other products. But if you have the LYS, then you're good. I think buying these is just a matter of being like a cream blush fan or more specifically being a Melt Cosmetics fan and seeing what they have to offer in the cream blush category of things. Dare I say, however, I like the blush lights, like the pearlized finishes more. I think they add a really nice radiance to the skin, and again, I'm going to use these as a beautiful setup for my powder highlighters so they have a little more emolliency to the skin, because sometimes I find with the jelly types of textures, when you put jelly type of texture on top of powdered skin, it could look really uneven and scattered and not smooth. But if you have a little bit of emolliency here from the blush light formula and then apply your jelly type of a finish on top, I'll definitely be experimenting more with that. Again, first impressions is more so just seeing the colors, getting a feel of the product. I'll keep using these for the rest of the month, and of course we'll report back. Let me know if you picked these up, if you received them, if you've been using them with LYS, Fenty, Cheeks Out, with Tower 28, Beach Please Tinted Balm. I would love to know your thoughts below. As of now, I like the formula. The colors, I feel the shade range can be worked on, and I will be delighted if Melt created more of like those more hot, heavy body types of shades, you know, to extend the spectrum for their cream blush light collection. I will see you in the comments, fam. And until then, that is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I will see you on here again with another review tutorial, cream blush extravaganza, monthly favorites, or nightly live chit chat. Take care, and I will see you again soon.